Okay, we're going to be talking about lifting today. It's something everybody has to do on their job, pretty much. So let's talk about how to do it right and the common mistakes people make. First of all, your back is well designed for lifting, but it's designed to lift like a crane, which is to say, instead of cables running up the back, you've got muscles that are designed to stabilize it. And like a crane, what the back should actually do, it shouldn't go like this. That's bad. I think everybody knows that. But it should stabilize, and the actual bending occurs not in the back. The bending occurs at the hips. You should bend with the hips to let that back go up and down. So you tilt forward with the hips, then you drop down using your legs, and we'll go over that, and then you come up, and then you come up like this. So it's important that your back muscles be strong and stable. That's what I want to talk to you about, lifting like a crane. So I'm going to give you an example of that. We'll take a look at that. Okay, for instance, some people think you're supposed to lift with your back straight up and down like this and use your legs. All right, let me have you try that. And see, he's going to go all the way down. See how straight his back is? That's actually bad. If you look at the knees, there's tremendous bend on the knees. It puts tremendous stress on the knees. Now, the idea of the back straight is not bad, but straight up and down is not the idea. Some people got the wrong impression. So go ahead and stand up. What I want is straight. This is straight too. The bending is at the hips. So he's going to go up, straight up and down like this. Okay, let me see you there. Good, and his chest, head is out, chest is out. So his back is straight, it's just not straight up and down. You can actually even have your hips up a little higher. Good, and now what we want to do is I'm going to correct his posture a little bit, because if you notice down here, the grip is in front of the toes. You always want to have your hands behind your toes. Good. Now get a grip on it, and up you come. Good. And down you go. Now look at this. He's just like a crane. Here are the cables on the crane hanging straight up and down. Your arms should be straight up and down when you lift. His grip is behind his toes. He's in a biomechanically great position to lift. Go ahead up and down a few times, and you can see he's going to get his maximum lift out of that. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, here we go. We talked a little bit about the lifting like a crane technique, and I'm going to show that again. I'm going to prop up here, grip behind the toes, get my grip, up I come. Very simple. But Steve, how much do we lift that actually has grips on it? Exactly right. So I'm going to show you a box lift over here. So what you want to do is the corner turn technique. Anytime you're lifting a box, you want to go ahead and tilt it so you're lifting an edge on the box. That way you don't have to lift to the bottom. Tilt, get your edge lift, wide stance, and there we go. There's an edge lift on a box. I'm going to show you a couple of things too. If your weight is toward your toes, you're going to use your knees more. If your weight is on your heels, you use your strong butt muscles. So to avoid bending your knees too much, go wider. So watch this. I can go wide here. I can go very wide, and my knees barely move. So when I'm wide using that technique, I'm going to go sideways so you can see better. The wider I go, the less my knees have to move. So if I go super wide on that, you can see how little knee flexion there is. I have to have hip flexibility. Hip flexibility and glute strength. That's why you see so many older guys on the waterfront. How are they lifting? Why are they lifting like that? Because their knees are shot. Now look how much my knees bend there. Hardly any. Now we're going to use the leg wide technique. Now I'm leaning at the hips. How much are my knees bending? Hardly any. So you got to learn how to use your butt, bend at the hips, straight with the leg, up you come. Super easy. Now we're going to try something bigger. Hold on a sec. Nice and wide. Once again, if you're flexible in the hips, how easy is that? How easy is that? Weight on the heels, fire the glutes. You may remember Tiger Woods. He withdrew from a major tournament because he couldn't fire his glutes. That's how important it is. Now, we'll talk about some easy lifts, and I'll be right back. Okay, one of the other things I hear people talk about is how they got injured lifting nothing. There's this idea that if you're lifting a pen or something, you're lifting nothing. Actually, if you look at the back, the discs and the muscles in the back have to lift your entire upper body. So if you weigh 200 pounds, bending over to lift nothing puts a 100-pound lift on your low back because you've got to lift your upper body. So always keep that in mind. Even something light, don't take that lift for granted. For instance, there's a pen down there. I'm going to go down, and there's my bad lift. Because it was a pen, I didn't have to worry about it, right? But remember, 100 pounds of stress on your back. So let's take a look at how you can do that differently. There's something that was invented by, well, it wasn't invented by golfers, but it's often called the golfer's lift because that's how they get the ball out of the cup. Unfortunately, I don't have a putter, but what they'll do is they lean on the putter, they kick the leg back, and they get the ball out of the cup. That's called a golfer's lift. This is a little bit longer, so I'm not at the right level. But if you're near anything, lean on something to get that low object. See how that works? Just lean on something that supports your upper body, takes most of the stress off your back. If you don't have anything there, use your knee. Very simple, hand on the knee, use your arm for power, pick up the pen. So you need to be careful lifting all the time. Light stuff, heavy stuff, just be aware of what you're doing. And remember, your back is going to be more vulnerable first thing in the morning. Your discs take up more fluid overnight. You may have noticed this if you have back trouble. You're a little bit dodgier in the morning. Maybe brushing your teeth, shaving, any kind of a little bit of leaning can be troublesome. So same principle at work. If you get to work and you've got to do some lifting, warm up with some easy lifts. Don't go right for the heaviest thing first. Do some easy lifts. In between, you remember the principle of the curve, extra marks for anybody who does. If you've got to do some of this, correct yourself by doing this. Give it a little relief. Start with the easier stuff, warm up to the heavier stuff, because if you can take care of your back, it will take care of you.
That's going in there.
No, it's not.